and welcome to our little Kentish road trip starting in Wrotham. This is part 1 of 2. This video will take us through some pretty villages, charming towns, and we'll take a look at a manor house as well. In part 1 we'll be starting at Wrotham village before heading on to Ightham Mote and heading towards Shipbourne. In part 2 we'll pick up at Shipbourne before heading across to West Peckham, Merryworth, up to Westmoreland before completing the loop. If you wish to cycle this route, then your nearest stations are Borough Green and Wrotham and Westmoreland. Our total route is 23 miles, but today we're just covering 7.5 of them. So without further ado, wagons roll. We're heading off the A20, following signs for Wrotham Historic Village. This is a reasonably simple route to follow. I'll add a Google My Maps link in the description for you to check out if you wish. At times I will speed up the action, but I'll always slow it down for the junctions and indicate. I think you'll find Wrotham a real hidden gem that will also make an excellent stopover on the way to or from mainland Europe. We're under 30 miles from London, between 45 and 50 for Folkestone and Dover, and close to the M25. I may even be able to recommend somewhere for you to stay. We're now going to turn right onto the High Street. The village car park can be found to our left on West Street. Let's have a look around Wrotham. And firstly its name, probably Anglo-Saxon, meaning a settlement under somebody called Rooter. Remember I said I had an accommodation recommendation? Well, let me introduce you to the Bull Hotel. I'll add a link in the description. Now, I haven't stayed here, but I have eaten here, and after a negotiation, drank here. I think it was my birthday. I just love this place. Great food, superb drink selection, and warm, friendly staff, hence the recommendation. At the heart of Wrotham is St George's Church, dating from the late 13th century, although the tower and porch are from the 15th century. It was here that the Wrotham Pinot grape variety was discovered in the 1950s in the churchyard, a hangover from Roman Britain. Being hardy and disease resistant, cuttings were taken and made their way to California. So if you enjoy a Californian Pinot or a bit of the Golden State's finest fizz, it may have started life here. Of course, a visit to a church wouldn't be the same without a look at the graves. The inscriptions are sometimes hard to make out. And it looks like I've got away lightly. Time to explore more of the village. Oh dear, it looks like I spoke too early. That's a lynch gate to the cemetery. Oh well, here we go. This may take a moment, so bear with us. There are so many stories to be told here, like what is this individual's connection with the sea? We can't even make out a name. That has to be it now. Let's get on with the village and why you're going to want to check it out. This is the village hall. There's something very traditional about Wrotham. I feel like I've stepped back in time. It doesn't help when a beautiful 1969 Triumph TR6 pops into view. We're now going to head along the rest of the High Street. The 16th century cottages on our right mix with buildings from different periods, such as the Rose and Crown, another of Wrotham's pubs, this one owned by Kentish brewer Shipbourne. Britain's oldest brewer with history dating back to 1698. We're now going to take a detour down St Mary's Lane, just being nosy really. Back onto the High Street and Wrotham's third pub, the George and Dragon. They must like a drink here. At the end of the High Street we come across the fine George and West House, but I think it's time for us to jump back in the car and hit the road again. I'm going to do a quick loop around Wrotham recreational ground before heading on to our next destination. So it's a left onto the old London road. And what's that on our right? That TR6 again. It's now time to speed up the action. Strictly speaking, this loop isn't necessary, but I wanted to give you a little bit more of Wrotham. We're now turning right onto the Pilgrim's Way. It's a relatively modern name for a much older trail, possibly from the Stone Age. This route, although fragmented, passes within half a mile of our home. It gets its name as a path taken by pilgrims from Winchester in Hampshire to the shrine of Thomas a Becket at Canterbury Cathedral in Kent. We've now completed our loop and rejoined the High Street. We're going to turn right onto the High Street as we head out of Wrotham village to the west. Obviously, some of the places we will travel through on this route are narrow, so we need to be prepared to give way. Unfortunately, not everyone got the memo, like the van driver behind me that proceeded to block the road. Still, I'm sure we can work this out. We now need to swing a right onto Kensington Road. It's not signposted, so you need to keep an eye out for it. This is not the most direct route to our next destination of Ightham, but it is the most scenic, and that's what matters. And another classic, an original Mini. We now need to turn left onto Fenpon Road. Once again, no signposting. If you'd like to explore more of this landscape, perhaps head across country, then I'd recommend the OS Maps app. Bring the power of the Crown's Ordnance Survey maps to your phone and discover public rights of way that crisscross the countryside that allow you to explore deeper. I'll slide a link in the description so you can find out more. We're now crossing the railway line, followed by the A25 trunk road that skims Ightham. We have now reached Ightham and we're going to park opposite St Peter's Church. Now let's have a look around Ightham. It would be fair to say that Ightham is small, maybe a one-street town. It's not, of course. It has a few little lanes and it's a village, so why stop here? Well, it packs a punch. I've driven through here plenty of times and I've always thought, wow. So this time I thought, let's stop and take a look. The first thing that strikes you is the 16th century Tudor buildings. It just looks so charming. It's probably what attracted Len Goodman of Strictly Come Dancing and Dancing with the Stars fame to buy a home here. It's also home to Martina Cole, best known as a gritty crime author of British gangster novels. It seems a world apart from the dark East End of London her novels centre on. On a beautiful summer's day like today, it just looks idyllic. I hope you like what we put together. If you do, then please give us a like, it really helps. And why not subscribe so you don't miss part 2. Okay, so there may not be a lot to do in Ightham. Even the village shop is not a village shop. It became a private house a few years back, but the pub, another Georgian Dragon, is Grade 2 listed, so plenty of history inside. Again, shepherd neem, so you'll find your favourite Kentish ales here, as well as a good menu. You remember we parked next to a church? Guess what? We're visiting. St Peter's Church was rebuilt at the turn of the 14th/15th century, but there's some clues to the earlier Norman church too. Once again, we're here to look at the headstones. One we won't find is that of William Sutton VC, who died in 1888 during the Indian Mutiny. He is buried here, but lies in an unmarked grave. With that box ticked, we're heading on to Ightham Mote, which means we've got to drive through Ightham. We're turning right here, continuing on Fenpond Lane. As we reach the Georgian Dragon, it becomes the street. You'll find additional parking on the right, behind the village hall on Sevenoaks Lane. Now once again, it's time to get a little wiggle on. We're going to deviate from the signposted route for Ightham Mote. I want to take you through the quaint little hamlet of Ivy Hatch, so that means we're turning right here onto Ismays Road. We have to head straight over here. It's a tricky little junction, so take care. At the end of Ismays Road, we bear left. The Plough pub is on our right. And in no time at all, we're turning right onto Mote Road. If you get a chance to glance to your left safely, then please do so. In less than 300 metres you'll come to the entrance to Ightham Mote on your left. Ightham Mote is a 14th century manor house surrounded by a moat with beautiful gardens set in some fantastic grounds. You may have caught our earlier video on Ightham Mote. In case you didn't, I'll pop it up at the end of this. The National Trust manages the Ightham Mote estate, and I'll add a link in the description so you can find out the opening times and prices. As well as the historic house, you have beautifully kept gardens and the larger estate to explore. It also makes a great spot for a picnic. Why was it on this day in August grey skies greeted me? Now I'm going to lead you to our next destination, Shipbourne. We're now going to turn left out of the car park. As you head down Mote Road, you'll need to keep a lookout to your left because you'll pass Ightham Mote again. Once we finally reach the end of Mote Lane, we'll need to turn left onto Hildenborough Road. When we reach the end of Hildenborough Road, we'll need to turn left onto Stumble Hill. We're going to pull in here to the Chaser Inn, and I'm going to call time on the first half of our road trip. We'll pick up part 2 from here and have a little look around Shipbourne before completing the trip. So that just leaves me to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. Stay safe, stay well, and happy travels.